Okay, so everyone's talking about AI, right? Tools like ChatGPT are everywhere. But what's the actual engine driving all of it? Well, it's data science. This is hands down one of the most in-demand career paths out there today. But for most people, the biggest question is just, where do I even begin? That's exactly what we're going to break down step by step in this explainer. So let's dive in. I mean, really think about it. You finish a series and bam, Netflix suggests something new that feels like it was picked out just for you. Or how about your Instagram feed? It kind of feels like it's reading your mind sometimes, doesn't it? Well, that's not magic. That is data science in action. It's all about analyzing patterns in what you do to make these spookily accurate predictions. It's about turning data into smart business decisions. And this is probably the single biggest myth we need to bust right now. So many people think you have to be this hardcore programmer to even get a foot in the door. But honestly, coding is just a tool. The real skill is understanding a business problem and then using data to find the solution. If you get the data, you can literally shape business outcomes. Okay, so we've busted that big myth, but that still leaves the question, what does a data scientist actually do all day? Let's just strip away all the confusing jargon and get right to the simple, practical reality of the job. Here's probably the best way to think about it. A data scientist is part detective. They're searching for clues and hidden patterns buried inside mountains of messy data. And they're part business thinker. They take those clues and turn them into a real strategy that helps a company grow or serve its customers better, or even invent whole new products. And this pretty much shows you the day-to-day workflow. It's a really logical process. First, you've got to collect all the raw information. Then comes probably the most important part, cleaning and processing it. Because, real-world data is almost always messy. From there, you dig in and analyze it to find those hidden patterns, which then lead to what we call actionable insights. And finally, you use those insights to make a solid business decision. It's this amazing cycle that turns raw information into real impact. So why should you even care about this five-step process? Well, because getting a handle on it isn't just some academic exercise. It's what opens the door to one of the most powerful and, frankly, future-proof career paths you can find today. Look, the demand for people with data skills is just exploding. It's happening in every industry you can think of, from healthcare trying to predict diseases to finance trying to detect fraud. And here's the really important part. You do not need a computer science degree to get started. We're seeing professionals from totally non-tech backgrounds use their unique industry knowledge plus data skills to just win big. This is the key to unlocking the power of AI for everyone, not just coders. All right, so you're interested. I get it. But how do you actually learn this stuff? This is exactly where most people get stuck and just give up. So let's lay out a super clear, step-by-step roadmap that can take you from zero to pro. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with a solid foundation. Now, please don't let the word math scare you off. We are not talking about memorizing a bunch of complex formulas here. It's all about just grasping the core ideas behind things like statistics and probability. You just need to get what a mean or a median actually tells you about a pile of data. That conceptual understanding, that's everything. So once you've got the concepts down, it's time to pick up your tools. And here's the secret. You don't need to learn a dozen different programs. Seriously, you just need to master a few essential ones to be incredibly effective. These right here are your big three. Python is the go-to language for data science. It's just a powerhouse with amazing support. SQL, which you might hear called SQL, is the universal language for pulling data out of databases. And hey, do not sleep on Excel. For smaller datasets and quick business analysis, it is an incredibly powerful and, honestly, an often underrated tool. Now we're getting to the real heart of the work, handling the data. This really breaks down into two key skills. First, you've got data cleaning, using tools in Python like Pandas to take that messy, raw data and make it actually usable. Second is data visualization. That's using other tools like Matplotlib to turn boring rows of numbers into charts and graphs that tell a really compelling story. This is how you actually communicate what you've found. Now, I know, trying to navigate all these tools and concepts on your own can be a bit daunting. So for those who want more of a guided path, we've actually built a program that focuses on these practical, real-world applications without getting bogged down in all the coding theory. We can touch on that again later, but for now, let's keep going with the roadmap. And now we circle right back to those math foundations we talked about, but this time it's all about applying them. This is where you use your understanding of concepts like mean, median, and probability to ask really important questions. Like, is this result I'm seeing actually significant, or is it just random chance? This is how you draw accurate conclusions and avoid making really expensive mistakes. So once you can analyze what happened in the past, the next logical step is to try and predict the future. And this is where machine learning comes in. You'll start with the fundamentals, like the difference between supervised learning, where you give the model labeled examples, like a bunch of pictures of cats with the label cat, and unsupervised learning, where you just ask the model to find hidden patterns all on its own. Frameworks like scikit-learn make it surprisingly easy to build models that can make these kinds of predictions. Okay, now for what is, without a doubt, the single most important step of all, building real projects. Look, watching tutorials is fine, but nothing, and I mean nothing, replaces hands-on experience. Go to a site like Kaggle, find a dataset that you find interesting, and just start analyzing it. Then showcase what you did on a portfolio site like GitHub. This is what employers actually want to see. Let this one sink in for a second. A certificate says you finished a course. A portfolio of projects proves you can actually do the job. It shows off your problem-solving skills, your technical abilities, and your knack for delivering real results. It is your single most valuable asset in this field, period. But here's where most people get it wrong. To help you actually succeed, let's quickly go over the biggest mistakes that just stop aspiring data scientists dead in their tracks.
Okay, number one, learning a tool like Python without having a business problem to solve, it's like having a hammer but no nail. It's totally useless. Number two is passively watching hours and hours of tutorials without building your own projects. That's a huge trap. You have to apply what you learn. And finally, the biggest mistake of all is still believing this is all about coding. It's just not.
And that really is the main takeaway here. The code, the math, the tools, they are all just in service of one thing, solving real-world problems. If you keep this as your North Star, you're always going to be on the right track. So what can you do to take action right now today, as soon as this is over? Let's make it super, super simple. Here are your first 3 steps. 1, go to Kaggle and find a dataset on a topic you're actually passionate about. It could be sports, movies, anything. 2, start a small project to answer one simple question about that data. Something like, which movie genre has the highest average rating? 3, create a GitHub account and put that little project up on it. It doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is just to start. Because when it comes down to it, AI is the future. That much is obvious. But data? Data is the foundation that this entire future is being built on. And if you understand how to work with data, you don't just survive in this new era, you lead it. So if you're serious about moving from just theory to actual practice and building the real-world skills that companies are desperate for, we've laid out the entire path for you. You can start your journey and see how professionals apply these skills every single day at aiskillies.com.